Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
sir.
sir.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, I hope everybody is fine.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. By God's grace.
Yes,
We
sir.
thank, we thank God. Where are the rest?
They are joining. Oh.
They'll join very soon. They are on their way.
Where are they coming from that they are on their way? Anyway, okay. Whilst you're waiting for them, I think we can start something. So where
Oh,
have we gotten to? Where are we? Somebody should, take us through. Hello. Is somebody ready to begin the journey with us?
sir, please, we ended at the concept, theoretical models and frameworks in nursing informatics.
Okay. But before I move to the substantive matter for today. Can somebody give us a recap on our last meeting? This one, don't let me, pinpoint anyone. I'll just feel free and then let's hear something from you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, so last week we started with fundamental computer concepts and internet technology. So we
Okay.
try to explain the difference between data and information. We
Okay.
talked about raw data, and we said that raw data becomes information when it is being processed through the computer central processing unit. That
Okay.
is the CPU, yes, which contains processor that converts data into meaningful output. And we also talked about the computer ports. And we said that we have different types, which includes the serial port, the parallel ports. Hello, sir, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, which includes the serial port, the parallel port, with more pins for faster transmission. That is the parallel port. And also, we talked about hardware. And we also said that it is a physical component of a computer, which includes the processor, memory device, input, output devices, the keyboard, the mouse, the monitors, the printers, and the storage devices. Yes, and we also talk about software also. After talking about the hardware, we talked about the software. And we said that the operating system that coordinates computer functions. And it brought us to the types of software. Then we mentioned the multi-user and the single users and the multitasking and the single tasking system. And we made some examples. We made mention of Windows, Linux, and the Androids. And we also came to booting. We said that booting is starting up a computer. Then we talk about the cold booting and the warm booting. And we said that the cold booting is turning on powered off computer, and the warm booting is restarting a computer. And we came on to the network versus internet. So we were asked to differentiate between network and internet. And we said that network are individual telecommunication. And we made mention of MTN. Yes, you talk about MTN, Vodafone, and Airtel. They are all networks. And we said that the internet is the global connection of multiple networks. Then it brought us to types of networks. We made mention of local area network, wide area network, and then the intra and the private companies. Yes, I think. Yes, and we also did HTTP versus the HTTPS. And you said that the HTTP is unsecured, whilst the HTTPS is secured, and it requires authentication. Thank you. Hello, sir.
Yeah, did you hear me?
No, sir, I didn't hear you.
What I mean is that where we ended our conversation last time?
Yes,
I
we
mean,
ended with the HTTP versus the HTTPS.
did you look at theoretical models and framework of nursing informatics? Did you look at that?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, then it seems like you are far behind. Okay, let's see how it goes. You are far behind. Okay, I'll share the slides. Can you make it out? Can you see it? Can you see it?
Lisa is now loading.
Sir, it's now loading.
Okay. Okay, I think it's quite clear now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, because of our time, we need to move straight to. Oh, I'm thinking we have done with. Okay. So I didn't introduce you to this one. I remember I introduced you to this, right? Did I do this? Did I introduce this one to you?
Yes,
Sir,
sir,
we
but you
ended
told
here.
us that we will start it today.
But when I asked you, you could have admitted that that's where we are. Anyway, so I've already shared the slides on the last page, so you can access them, right? Now, concept, theoretical models, and framework in nursing informatics. Now, the complexity and responsibility of nursing practice today requires long-term and ongoing career development. This in turn, requires an understanding of the differences between the experienced nurse and a novice. By the end of this unit, students should be able to describe their theoretical models in nursing informatics, and again, explain the distinguishing features. Describe the levels of novice to expert theory. But before that, what is a concept? A concept is just an idea, then theoretical models. Models are very important. They represent foundational, knowledge within which, knowledge is what, built. So, especially in research, you notice that whenever you want to embark on any journey in terms of research, you are supposed to be guided by what others have already done in terms of theory. Then your work should also underpin that kind of what theory that serve as what a foundational knowledge. In your research, so you understand what a model is, and then the framework is something like a structure or semantic. So in research, whatever concept that you come up with that is distinct from what is already known in the field, then that represents a conceptual, framework. Okay. So we are going to look at that, but our conversation is going to be centered around theoretical models. The novice to the expert theory is a construct theory first proposed by Hubert and Stuart Duclos as the Duclos model of scores acquisition, and later applied and modified to nursing by Patricia Benner. That provide a useful and important theory that is applied to nursing informatics. What I mean here is that we are looking at construct here. So this theory was first proposed by Hubert and Stuart Duclos, and Patricia Benner saw the need to integrate this into nursing, and that this has formed the foundational knowledge in terms of various positions in nursing or ranking in nursing. So you start from, let's say, staff nurse, staff midwife, senior staff midwife, in that order. So all of them are based on experience or based on rank. And Patricia Bernard shared this viewpoint about levels of skills acquisition. Now we are going to limit our conversation to the construct we see here. From the novice, advanced beginner, competent, proficient, and expert. Once you see these, you see this, that represent what? A construct. And the constructs are depicted in what? This model, okay? So what you see here, and once you see maybe arrows pointing to them, they represent what? I mean, the model. So the construct define what a model is all about. And we are going to look at the various, constructs. There are 5 levels of development within the novice to the expert theoretical model. They start from the bottom rank at the novice level and move upward through advanced beginner, competent, proficient, and expert level. So let me take you back to the diagram you see here. So be guided as we are moving forward. Now, let's look at the distinguishing features of this model. Both Dufros and Patricia Bernard estimated that it takes approximately or nearly 5 years to move through the 5 stages from novice to expert, but also made profound statement that not all novices end up in becoming experts. 2 personal characteristics that distinguish the successful evolution to the expert level stem, seems to be deliberate practice and willingness to take risk, go beyond the norm. Now let me start with the position by Dufres and Bernard. This is a very important comment that not everybody who moves from the novice stage gets to the expertise level. But before you can do that, it is what conscious or deliberate effort to go through challenges, weather storms, before you can move through these meanders to get to the level. So that is the position by Patricia Bernard and then Dufros. And we can compare this one to what ranking. Somebody might have worked in the facility for maybe years with rich experience, but may not necessarily be an expert or be more proficient. But somebody can just be out of school, but based on commitment, based on the willingness to learn, the person can, within the first years, the first 5 years, get to the level of expertise. So it depends on the individual. So risk-taking is part of our human life. And therefore, those people who want to enjoy the fruit of their labor, they don't just, get it on a silver platter. It is conscious effort to get you where you want to be. And that is what. So, examination. It's too early. That is Millicent, Amanda. You are warm, okay? So I said that in examination, I can ask you 2 personal characteristics that distinguish the successful evolution to the expert level seems to be deliberate practice and willingness to take risk. That will stand as an option. Then you may also have other equally important options that you are supposed to decide whether it can exemplify or it exemplifies what the statement. So you also have to look at that. Now let's examine the context very well. Novice to expert level. A novice does not know anything about the subject he or she is approaching and has to memorize its free context or its context-free features. So what we mean is that we are looking at informatics or we are looking at information system, we are looking at a software that you are using. Once we introduce the software for first time, it takes users to make sure that they have gone through rigorous training before they can use such systems. But in the case of a novice, we assume that you are approaching the new system for the first time. Hence, you cannot use the system. And once you cannot use the system, you are supposed to limit yourself to looking at how the features or the rules of the engagement or game, right? And that is who a novice is. Then a beginner is still dependent on rules, but as he or she gains more experience with real life situation, he or she begins to notice additional aspects that are applied to related conditions. So the point here is that for advanced beginner, even though they may be in the same soup like that of what a novice, but there is some peculiar characteristic that is unfamiliar or that cannot be identified with what a novice. The person still depends on rules, but you notice additional improvement that may not be seen in a novice, and that is what advanced beginner. So if you are using, let's say, LEMS, a novice will still have to learn how the rules of the game, how the features work, how it can be applied to real life situations. So rules of engagement. Then advanced beginner, at least, even though you rely on rules, but you may see additional features that are not seen in a novice. And that is what advanced beginner. Then competent. At this stage, the competent person grabs all the relevant rules and facts of the field and is for the first time able to bring his or her own judgment to each case. So advanced beginner, unlike both novice and advanced beginner, a competent nurse or a competent user of an information system who grasps all the rules of what engagement or all the rules of the facts of the field, and the person is able to bring his or her intuition or understanding to bear with all the system that the person works with. And that is what a competent user of an information system. So I remember in some years back, the political landscape, there was an issue of competent and then incompetent. Now, who is a competent user? Who is a competent person? And who is incompetent? So it became quite clear that some people were described as incompetent, others were also seen as what? Super incompetent. So by the end of this journey, you position yourself in any of the levels of skills acquisition, whether you see yourself as a competent nurse, competent midwife, or competent user of an information system. Then those people who are in school as nursing students in first year, second year, third year, those in final year, those who are doing rotation, and those who have spent a year on the job. Where are you going to place them? So let's ponder on this. I'll come back and then ask you some questions. Then the fourth stage is stage of fluency. Which of the following levels of skills acquisition is denoted by fluency and characterized by the process of the learner in analysis and solving of the situation to the holistic perception of the entirety of the situation? What I mean here is that which of the stages of skills acquisition is described as stage of what? Fluency. So you should be able to tell us or align your option to what? Proficient. And who is a proficient user of an information system, right? So let me just pause here. What, in your view, will be the difference between a competent user of an information system and that of proficient user of an information system? What, in your view, represent the two? Competent user, proficient user. I'll be very happy if you are able to narrow your explanation with examples. For the purpose of clarity, I think you can do that. So the floor is for you now. I hope you are following the conversation.
Yes, sir.
So let me take your views on
Yes.
who is going to attempt or make attempt. I said that let's narrow our conversation. We want to know who your competent user, a competent nurse. How will a competent nurse differ from a proficient nurse? Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the feedback. Your view about that. Hey, so you mommy. Okay, now let me go to Mary or say. Okay, let's
Sir,
hear from you.
please, I want to try.
Right.
Okay, sir, between the competent and proficient, let's say at the ward, a newly posted staff has come to the ward. The person is not exposed to so many cases, difficult cases, and is not able to manage them as how is to be managed. But the proficient one, this person has been on the job for a very long time and has been exposed to so many difficult cases and can navigate or can be able to manage such cases. That's what I want to say about that.
Okay, so that is just about the competent, right, or proficient?
So between the competent and the proficient.
So who is a competent user of an information system?
So like I said, the competent one is someone who has been newly posted. The person has done rotation and has been exposed to some of the cases, but is not able to manage them as how is to be managed. But with the proficient one, this person has been on the job for a very long time and know how to go about such cases.
So if you are having, let's say, what in charge, based on, let's say, the level of what experience and staff nurse who is not in charge, where do you place the two?
Sir, please, the word in charge will be the proficient one.
What about the staff nurse?
The staff nurse will be the competent one.
Please let me try.
Okay, that's a very good feedback. Now let me take it from another person. Mary, thank you. Who is the next person to try? Let's speed up. Time is not on our side because I said you are a bit behind. So let's speed up things.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, the competent person is someone who is properly or adequate can do things adequately or properly, while a proficient one is a person who is highly skilled or very good at something.
Okay, highly skilled, very good at something. So you also, tell me that the fact that somebody is in charge doesn't mean that somebody who is not in charge is not proficient. Because normally, how you go about the ranking, somebody with more experience maybe maybe in charge. So on the basis of that, if I have also served for a number of years and I'm not in charge, are you going to put all of us in the same bracket, or the in charge should be considered as more proficient compared to the other?
Yes, the in charge should be considered as a more proficient than the other staff nurse or a midwife.
But there's also been concerned that some people have been in the job for years, but their level of execution in terms of decision making may not be other than compared to somebody that you may not take them to have the experience, but they are ready to learn and they have learned on the job. What about that one too?
So it depends on the person. If the person, it depends on the person you are talking about. If the person is good, she will be good. But some people, although they are in charges, but they still don't behave as in charges.
Okay. So the number of years doesn't necessarily make somebody expert, right? So it is more subjective. I think that is the picture, right?
But I think
Yes.
experience too is part. Experience. Those who have more experience are proficient. Like those who have worked 3 to 5 years have more experience than those who have worked less than 2 and 1 year.
So if I want you to, put yourself somewhere, how are you going to classify yourself? Are you going to peg yourself at the proficiency level, or I'm asking you? You may not want to go. How do you see yourself in this kind of conversation? Where do you place yourself?
I'm a competent nurse.
If you're competent, there's meaning that you still, you are
I
just
have
able to
less experience. We are newly posted.
posted, right? I like the fact that you have made honest admission.
Yeah.
But at least, so you mean that you cannot, manage a ward yourself. You can't do that yourself.
Yeah, we
You can.
can do that, but we are still under rules and regulations. If there is a case and like you have to tell the in charges, maybe they will show you the directions and how to go about it. So we are still under probation.
Oh, okay. I remember somebody who was posted to some place in the Western region. Excuse my language. The person claimed that the place was very, very far. I never knew the in charge over there was leaving for school. He was a newly posted midwife. So when she was also informed that he was going to, be the manager of the place, soon as hinted about that, then she declined the posting because he was saying that how will she be able to manage the place being a first, person on the job. So that's the point. But anyway, that is your view. Thank you. Now let me go to Comfort. Then I'll come back to Jennifer, and I'll and then from there you
Say,
make. Yeah, hello.
say, when we take the two with the IT, I would say that the competence level they depend on people. Maybe sometimes when they need help, they have to call for help. And then when we take the proficiency, they don't depend on anybody. They can maneuver. They are master pieces. They know everything on their own. So like when you take an IT, maybe a newly posted IT person will have to ask questions. But someone who has been working, who is maybe who has been working for a very long time, or even if the person is a newly posted and the person knows computer and he doesn't ask questions, you know everything about it. That person is a proficient, and then the other one who is dependent is the competent person.
Oh, okay.
Sam,
Okay. Yeah. Chelsea, pa, me yashe. Anyway, um, anyway, let's make progress from here. I'll manage. But so just as you said, a proficient user of an information system. Somebody who has been on the job for years, the person has seen all challenges. So sometimes the decision that you take come naturally. You do under less supervision, right? But the competent user may still relies on some level of supervision. So that is just about it. I hope it's okay now. Okay. So let's move on to the expert level. Who is an expert in terms of the use of an information system? So an expert is of what experience. Somebody who has experienced all situations. And sometimes the decision that you make intuitively, comes, naturally. You don't struggle to make decisions because you are seeing it through all situations and you are able to dissect between challenges. Okay. The one who is disturbing us. Don't let me come and disturb you. Hello. Nobody is acting as a co-host, so okay, Gifty, and then Gloria, I think you can do your work. Now, I've made a clear case of expert. So expert, all the decision you take, it comes naturally. You don't struggle to make what decision because everything comes naturally because you have seen it in all situations and you know where to navigate without challenges. And that is why if you do the ranking, you have the in charge, you have the nursing manager, and then you have nursing directors, right? Okay. Is the point okay? Is it okay?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So based on what I've also seen from the page, that is why I said that it is also subjective because somebody it depends on your level of commitment. Somebody can work for 5 years, 10 years, but somebody can work for 3 years. And the person, and then it also depends on where you are supposed to work because it could also be that you have not witnessed all situations compared to somebody who has also seen it at the top. So it is a bit subjective, right? Okay. So let's look at relationship between data, information, and knowledge. That is where you don't have any question. Right. Now, what is the difference? What is data? Data, information, and knowledge are key components of nursing informatics, and they help in understanding clinical information systems and their impact on healthcare. So by the end of this session, students should be able to establish clear relationship or linkage between or among data, information, and knowledge. Then you describe, the key relationship. So according to Broom, in 1996, they introduced the concept of data, information, and knowledge as the major framework for nursing communication. He did this by classifying the then current information systems by the three types of objects that these systems process, and they were data, information, and knowledge. Now let's look at the linkages between this. Data, information, knowledge are of concern to nurses in all areas of practice. As an example, an instance of vital signs for an individual heart rate, respiration, temperature, among others. How do you contextualize this in terms of relationship between data, information, and the knowledge, or relationship among data, information, and knowledge? How do you contextualize them? How then do you have raw data being transformed into meaningful information? Then how then also do we, in the same context, see knowledge? Is the picture quite clear to you? Is the question quite clear to you?
No, sir. Sir,
No,
please come
Okay.
again.
Please
Yeah,
come again.
what I mean is that we are going to look at this. We are establishing clear linkage or relationship among the major pillars of nursing communication, data, information, and knowledge. And on the basis of this, if you take vital signs is seen as what? Data elements or data sets. So how do you contextualize this into meaningful information or let's say knowledge? Can you do that? Can you do that?
Please, your line was breaking. I couldn't hear what you said.
I think you see, but I said vital signs as an example of what data element, right? Contextualize that into information and the knowledge. I hope that is quite clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go.
Sir, please, are you asking us to explain?
Hey, I'm asking you to explain. Yes. So are you ready? Okay.
Oh, okay,
Maybe
sir. So please, I think that taking the vital signs, it serves as a data. It serves as an information about the person you are working on. So if you are being asked about the person's well-being, you can provide the vital signs to show the well-being of the person. If the signs are reading normal, you would know that the person is in good health. But if it is not, you know that the person is in bad health. So it serves as an information and it will guide you in what you are doing. Thank you.
okay. But when we were doing the introduction, I mean, you included information. So when you also introduce information in the same way like data, then it presents some kind of confounded. But anyway, we are getting the picture. Can somebody also give us something?
There,
Okay.
I think that the vital signs, they are just raw materials, like they are not interpreted, so they are not understandable unless they are processed to become information before you know what you do with the vital signs.
What will give you an idea of data set turning into an information? Or what will give you an idea of data elements getting
Interpretation.
into information? Interpretation.
Yeah.
What will inform you about the interpretation? I mean, what will inform you about the interpretation? If you are checking somebody's BP and it's normal, you don't require any interpretation, right?
Yeah.
But if you check the
Yes.
BP for maybe some period of time, you check it maybe multiple times, and you are getting inconsistent, data elements, then it will give you a fair idea of what is likely to happen. Are you getting it? And that is what information, because you have been able to contextualize what the data elements into useful, understanding. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the same way, how then does this also turn up into knowledge? That is why we are looking at the linkages. So just put this into proper context. If you have data set like vital signs, then how does it turn into information in that order? So let's go to knowledge. Okay. So who is next?
Listen,
Okay.
listen, based on the information that you will get, based on that, be it normal or abnormal, it gives you a clear knowledge as to how to go about the patient in front of you, whether to give a medication or just to give a counseling that the vitals that I checked on you, they are of normal range and nothing bad is going to happen to you. Or based on the outcome of the information that you get from the vital signs check on the person, based on that, you will know that, this type of vitals, the person or the patient need to be seen by a medical officer. So from there, you probe further, and then the necessary help are being rendered to the patient or the client.
Okay. So that's a very good one. Exactly the point I've been looking for. So you have been able to contextualize that based on the intervention that you put in place. That becomes what knowledge, because you know what is happening. And that should give you an idea of the thing to put in place to remedy the situation or manage the patient. And that is what knowledge. I hope you are following the conversation well.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the same
Yes,
vein,
sir.
let me also see how then do we classify somebody as having, let's say, a body mass index of 30, but the person is still not obese. How do you also come to terms with that? Your knowledge will inform you that the person is having body mass index of 30, but the person is still not obese. So let us look at the linkages, right from, I mean, the vitals through to confirmation of somebody being obese or not being obese. So let's see, how do you also contextualize this into clear relationships, starting from data and then through to determination of what? Obesity. How do we establish that? Is that clear? Okay, so let me make progress for me, and then you appreciate this one. For this one, I think part of this is missing, but I'll make it available to you. I think I've already shared the complete one, but I think part of this one is missing from the slide. But I'm just also trying to, if you are having, let's say, data elements like width, height, and let's say age, how then do you use these data elements to define somebody as being obese or not obese? So I want you to establish some linkages to the application of what? Data, information, and then knowledge. I don't know whether the question is clear. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start from there and see. Oh, if the question is very clear to you, then we don't have to waste time. Time is not. I said you are far behind,
Sir,
right?
please, sir. So the vital signs that you will take, they are the raw data, as you said earlier. And then when you put them together, they become the information. And then this information would give you knowledge. The knowledge is when you get to know that, oh, per these vitals, the person is having this problem or it will result in this problem. So you get that knowledge as a result of collating that data, the vitals, like writing them down, collating them down, getting that information, and then you get the knowledge. Subsequently, how you get the knowledge. That's a little I can see.
So I'm saying that use the following data set or data elements. You use your age, your height, and weight, right? Follow that in order to decide whether somebody is what, obese or not obese. So just follow right from the data elements, contextualize it, right, into many information and that of what? Knowledge. I want you to bring your understanding of the first point, that is the vital signs, to follow the same, I mean, explanation, right? Or the question is not quite clear.
Sir, I don't know if I understand, but per what you are saying, if we are supposed to check the BMI of the person, let's say we are assuming the person's weight is 90
Okay.
and the height.
Yes. Yeah,
You
we
know
can.
that this client, and with the knowledge that you have from school, you know that this number that you are getting, the 30 that you are getting, the person falls within the obese range.
Okay. Please, those of you who have kept quiet, are you getting what she's trying to say? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, the issue is that once you have, let's say, weight and then let's say height as your means of getting your BMI, or you using your weight and the height to determine what the BMI of your client. Once you are able to contextualize or give maybe meaning to those set of what data element, that is the height and then the width in the calculation of your BMI. That one is just an information because it's giving you some relevance. That will make you go step further to make the final determination whether the person is what underweight, overweight, or obese. Knowledge will tell you that the person is having BMI of 30 and still not obese, right? And that is, how I wanted you to contextualize it. Okay. So there are several instances that we can bring to bear with the conversation. In the meantime, understand it by the examination, there are going to be application-based questions. So let's take note of that. Going to be application-based questions. Okay. Is there anything I have to know before we move on to the next? Is there anything I have to know? Is there any question somebody want to ask?
Sir, please clarify this one for me.
Okay.
Sir, please, let's take a temperature of 39 degrees
Okay.
Celsius. And with the temperature, if I just check the temperature and then I write down the 39 degrees Celsius, that will be the data. And then if I'm able to contextualize it and say that, 39 degrees Celsius compared to the normal temperature range will be hyperthermia. So I would say that the person has a high body temperature. So in that case, that one will be the information, right? And maybe with the knowledge, I can say that because the temperature is high, it could be that the patient is having maybe an infection or there's something causing it. So let's do further investigation. So if I do something like this.
Exactly the position, right? That is it. Because the knowledge will be the application of what? The things that you know about how to manage the situation. Are you getting it? Or the intervention that you put in place. Then the set of data elements that you have. Inconsistent, abnormal values, or maybe results will give you some relevance. That will ensure that you are supposed to see some further steps to see how you can address the situation. And that is how you contextualize these data elements into knowledge. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Welcome. So let's make progress from here. Okay. Now, everything that can be counted does not necessarily count. Everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted at that instant. So this one is just some to guide us as we make our way to the next topic. I'm not addicted to reading. I can quit as soon as I finish one more chapter. Nobody gets addicted to reading, right? So this one is encouraging us to do more. I can quit as soon as I finish one more chapter. So have you seen this man?
Yo, madam, for now, I want to see.
If you are unable to read like the way this man is doing, then you haven't read much. So let's try to learn from this man so that we can get very good grades. Okay, now uses and competencies in nursing informatics. Uses and competencies in nursing informatics. I've already shared these slides, so you can find them in the B class. The nursing informatics competencies mean that nurses have adequate computer literacy and information management skills. For example, knowing how to use email, manage Windows applications, search databases, and the ability to operate institution-specific chat and medication. Please, can you people
Shalaменsa, please mute yourself.
However, not all nurses possess adequate skills. It is very important that we are able to identify nurses' informatics skills towards technologies that facilitate information processing communication, and then its exchange. So by the end of this session, students should be able to identify and describe various competencies of nursing informatics. Then explain the meaning of nursing informatics competencies. So we are going to look at this from this point of view. Beginner, entry, or user level. Intermediate or modifier level. Advanced or innovator level of competency. Based on this, we are going to describe them, whether a beginner has technical competencies, whether a beginner has what it takes to utilize the existing system, and that is what utility competencies. Then you also apply the same thing to leadership competencies. When we are done, the same manner, we apply intermediate or modifier level in view of technical, utility, and then leadership level of what competencies. The same way, we also follow the last one in that order. So let's take note of it. Other than that, you may be at a loss, and I don't want you to find yourself, elsewhere other than this platform. So this is the point I'm just trying to talk about. Those of you who are you no longer acting as hello?
Sister Franklin, mute yourself.
If you have lost your position as a co-host, send another request. And then
Sir, I mute them, they unmute themselves again.
Yeah, we cannot be having this kind of disruptions, right? Okay. So with the technical competencies, we are going to look at the use of what information and communication technology. So if you are able to use ICT, then that will, confirm your technical competencies. If you are able to apply this knowledge in ICT in a professional context, that represents utility competencies. If you are able to make informed decisions with respect to planning and using both the technology or information, that will also give credence to leadership competencies, right? So let's take note of this one so that you are better informed. We are going to look at a beginner, entry, or user level. You will apply technical, utility, and the leadership competencies. Okay, so once we are done with this, then we come to intermediate or modifier level. So when I talk about intermediate, it's the same as modifier. You apply the same context, that is technical, utility, and then leadership competencies. Then we come and take the last one. So let's begin with the beginner, entry, or user level. A user level of competency indicates nurses who demonstrate core nursing informatics skills or competencies. This level includes practicing nurses, where nurses work. All proposed framework include competency that describe the use of what information technology. So if you're able to use information technology, then that is what technical competencies. If you are able to use the automated systems or computerized system in a professional context, that is utility and decision making in terms of planning. That also exemplifies what leadership competencies. Now you look at this Venn diagram. There is intersection of what a beginner, modifier, and innovator shaped by technical, utility, and the leadership competencies. So before I move to the beginner level or entry level competency, let me pick somebody. I saw one hand here. let me go back to her and then take something from her. Please go ahead and then let me hear from you. Or it was unintended. Okay. So now let's look at a beginner entry user level. We are going to look at technical competency that a beginner should possess. So according to Kaminsky, he said that a beginner should be able to use nursing information systems or the current information system having these characteristics. So if you don't possess these traits or you are not embodiment of these core information here, then you are not qualified to be somebody who possesses all the technical competencies as a beginner. Now you should be able to use word processing applications, demonstrate keyboard skills. So if you are not a type who type maybe, let's say, I'm a data entry, you type 1, and then maybe 20 seconds, you have not been able to identify another key. When you do that, a beginner, this one doesn't classify you to be a beginner. So if you don't see yourself here, then I don't know where you are going to classify yourself or identify yourself with. Use spreadsheet applications, right? Use telecommunication devices to communicate with other systems, and use email to communicate with other care professionals. So how to compose a message, how to attach a file, right? All of them are very important for a beginner. So you are going to do a candidate assessment of yourself with a view that as a beginner, do you possess these technical competencies? If you are not seeing this core information being associated with your skills or competencies, then we need to take steps to see how we can address that. Now, especially with the keyboard skills, if you are somebody who doesn't type, fast, what steps are you taking? You can learn maybe Speaker to sharpen your skills of typing. Okay, so that is what a beginner. So if you cannot use word processing applications, and somebody will have to go and then type your case study, do everything for you, then if you're not a beginner, who are you? If you cannot compose a message via mail, cannot attach a file from your desktop to a mail and send, where can we classify you or put you? So let's ponder on this. In the same vein, we are going to look at utility competencies applied to a beginner. We are talking about how you can use the technology in professional context. So per the LIMS or the games or other versions of software that you are using, are you able to recognize the relevance of what nursing data for improving practice? So organization, are you able to recognize the relevance of what nursing data for decision making? Then recognize the limitations of computer applications. In the professional context, the computer that you are using, when there are some glitches or let's say hitches, are you able to identify them and to your level of what knowledge, are you able to resolve it? We are not necessarily saying that you should fine-tune any steps to address that. But what we are saying is that when the system comes up with some challenges, or you are exposed to some challenges, are you able to identify and then mitigate those challenges? And that is the reason why we look at computer systems, we look at computer ports, where whenever you are having disconnect, cables out of port, outlet, you should be able to identify and then fix it. So that is from the utility point of view for a beginner. Now let's apply leadership. Somebody who is a beginner, one way or the other, should be able to use computerized management system to record administrative data, billing data, quality assurance data, workload data, among others. So in the professional context, you should also be able to use the electronic health records to record, administrative data in terms of billing data. You should be able to use the system to bill your client you have attended to, and then also decide whether the services are of high quality. You also look at all that. Then use application for structured data entry, especially classification systems. Now, do you understand how the design processes to classify entities, domains, or different medical diagnoses? So ontology is very important for this kind of work. Decision. When you get to taxonomy and informatics standards in Ghana, you appreciate the need to do coding. So in doing coding, you classify different medical condition, diagnoses, and other related variables. So if you are not able to do that as a beginner, then it means that you need to take steps to see how you can sharpen your skills. Now, let me just hold on here, then invite you into the conversation. What do you make of a beginner who should possess the traits of what? Technical, utility, and the leadership competencies? Is there any question or any addition somebody wants to?
Hello, sir.
Okay, hello.
Please, sir, I want to ask you a question. Please, with the LEMS at my facility, at my unit, each time you are using it with the games that they have introduced, each time you are using it, you see the network will go off. And the one who came and show us or educated us on how to use it, unless you sometimes you try it, the network will not come unless you call that same person, and that person will, the IT personnel, to come before you do whatever you do, the network will then come. So as a beginner, am I not competent using it with what you are saying?
Okay, even though the current structure, the IT people have the mandate to oversee some of these challenges, right? But I'm saying that we cannot continuously rely on their input. There are some basic things that 50, if you're the co-host.
Yeah, done. Okay. She's at the waiting room.
Okay. So, how many times do we expect the IT people to come and then get our challenges resolved for us? We should also take responsibility. And then whenever there are some glitches or some few challenges, we should also learn how to, identify that and face it yourself. So if you're talking about network challenges, and every moment, because network challenges may go beyond maybe the level of what, a beginner. So it may require some technical competencies. So on the basis of this, nobody can begrudge you. But if you are continuously found of what, getting in touch to come and then resolve everything for you, that is where I have a problem. So how, because they said that we have guided you how to get it done. So if repeatedly, you still have to come back to them to come and then resolve it for you, then I don't know whether to manage you a beginner, and then maybe, I don't know, whether you are classified as a novice. But you cannot be likened to a novice because you are already using the system in a professional context. Yeah. That is why you are learning. You see, we look at the rules of what nurses in informatics. And because of the challenges that we face, that is the reason why IT people have been attached to assist us in the education of what our duties. But if you are up to the task, you don't require the services of what IT people unless it requires what expertise or attention. Please, are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And that is the essence of what this conversation. That aside the decision making that you are making to benefit the patient. How is it that whenever you encounter any problem, you can't resolve it, and you still have to invite somebody to come and do it for you? Okay. I hope I've answered. Good. Now
yes,
let's
thank you.
The next one. Intermediate or modifier level competency. But before I dig deep into this, every practicing nurse or user of an information system should at least be seen at this level of competency, that you are considered as what, intermediate or modifier level. Right. So every practicing nurse, you should consider yourself, at the intermediate level. So if you don't even have all the attributes of what a beginner, terms of being described in view of technical utility and the leadership. Then I don't know whether we can still classify you as an intermediate, but professional wise, then I can say that all of you are seen at the intermediate level. So if you have noticed that a beginner, you don't have all the quality traits of being able to use a system at your level, then you have to be more deliberate in terms of what trying to fill the gaps, right? So this level also includes practicing nurses. I mean, in diverse areas of nursing where nurses work, who have mastered basic skills and use technology in inventive ways. So the basic skills is that the system that you are working with, you know your way, I mean, in and out of what the system, and you are able to navigate your way in making decisions, and that is a very good one. But let's also try to look at it from this point of view. Whether a modifier or intermediate level, you have all these quality traits in terms of technical competencies. You apply technology support to provide evidence-based practice, and again, synthesize data from more than one source and apply to practice. So what I mean here is that you should be able to identify evidence-based information that can support any intervention on the system. You should be able to access information, I mean, online or different databases online and see how you can use that as an evidence to support any intervention you are embarking on, right? Then you also synthesize data from more than one source. It is also very important that you can hone information from different sources altogether. You can open, I mean, so many things on your desktop and can still apply them in terms of what decision making. Demonstrate awareness of and ability to access data and information from multiple sources. You should be aware of what the sources of information for decision making, and that is just about the intermediate or modifier. Then utility. You should understand basic and complex concepts and processes of various computer systems and how they relate to practice. So you should be able to know the basic features of what the computer, its applications, the complexities or issues of incompatibilities that may come with decision making. You should be able to, I mean, identify all of them. Then synthesize information from more than one source. Uphold ethical standards related to data security, confidentiality, among others. What this one means is that ethical governance or ethical framework in terms of leveraging security measures to protect patient-sensitive information is very important. So the system that we design or we introduce, first of all, we should also make sure that we don't do anything that may compromise the confidentiality of what patient information, or we should do away with what data breaches. And when we want to do away with what cybersecurity threats, people with malicious intentions to gain access to patient information, people who do not have authorization and they want to gain access to patient record, we should be able to mitigate that by instituting right security framework or governance that will ward off some of these intruders. And that is from the utility competency. You should be able to know, I mean, how to do away with your malware, the spyware, Trojan horses. You should be able to identify the source and mitigate those challenges, right? Then leadership. So that is why you should have this kind of lens. As a leader being intermediate or modifier, you should be able to be aware of your role of nursing or informatics in context of health informatics and information systems. So this one is very important for a nurse to associate him or herself with any of the rules of nurses in informatics. Whether you are seen as a product manager, you are also considered as programmer, system analyst, or user liaison, all and other diverse rules of nurses in informatics. You participate in policy and procedural development related to nursing informatics. This is very important. What is the policy document or legal document that support nurses in their use of information systems? At the moment, we are working with LIMS or games. But have you wondered whether there is a bar. Okay, so I was talking about leadership competencies with respect to a modifier or intermediate. I was talking about participating in policy and procedural development related to informatics. And I said that before you decide to even use the software, you ask your management as whether it comes with what? Some policy backing. So in the European Union, there is no way you may not be made aware of what? The data you are going to use. So on the basis of this, if you are going to apply this technology in professional context, then you should be able to know the implications in terms of legalities. You should be able to know all of them, right? Now let's make progress to the last one. That is just about the advanced or innovator level. An advanced or innovator level of competency indicates nurses who demonstrate advanced and specialized nursing informatics competencies. The first one, you have mastered expert skills and use technology in design, planning, and coordination in terms of the use of what technologies. So what this one means is that you have seen it all. You have mended storms, been a beginner before, have also gone through the intermediate level, and you have seen all situations, and therefore you have advanced, or you are considered as what innovator. What you do is that you plan in the design of what the software, in the transition of, let's say, nursing relevant information to affect automated systems or computerization. You also plan in terms of care coordination, how the system should consider organization or restructuring of what nursing relevant information to be interfaced with computerization. You should be deeply involved in this, and that is what advanced level competency. So let's look at technical competencies for somebody who has advanced. You participate in the design and development of what information system, just as I've already hinted. You develop inventive ways to access data and interact with what information systems. So, for instance, we know the electronic health record, that is the OPD number, represent the core of the electronic health records. And that one will give you access to the patient records. So that is done efficiently compared to the paper-based system. But as somebody who has technical acumen in terms of being advanced or innovator, what insight have you also noticed that you think can support effective quality care delivery? So you can suggest a number of things that can help quality healthcare outcomes. So for instance, nurses have been doing verbal communication in terms of what handover or handing over during shift hours. So what can we do in place of this one? So as an innovator, or let's say advanced, you can suggest something like, once you are going electronic and you're no longer committing to paper-based system, instead of us to do manual handover or writing report, we can just do voice note being transformed by, let's say, large language models and the ChatGPT. You should be able to talk, and the system will just convert your voice message to textual form that are interface with your computerization. All these are some of the things that an advanced innovator may bring to fore in terms of what decision making. Then you participate in developing new methods for data and information organization. I've also made a point about data organization for effective workflow. Once information look disparate or they are not well organized, it may affect what effective workflow. So you need to make sure that you are deeply involved in this. And that is why when they are doing the restructuring, they need to make sure that they invite the in charges. They also call the nursing managers so that They will also guide the IT people during the conversion or transition process. And very, very important. The utility competencies. We also do needs assessment. What are the needs of users at the various, places of work or department? Then you also do needs assessment. So needs assessment, very important. Then you look at system selection. So in terms of selecting your software, other relevant computer applications, you should be deeply involved as somebody who has advanced or who possesses that kind of inventions. Now, implementation and maintenance support, information systems. We are looking at phases of system implementation. So the pre-implementation phase, which may be involved in decision to acquire the software and other relevant applications. Then once you have also installed the infrastructure to run, and post-implementation phases where you do evaluation to look at the maintenance of what, how best you can maintain the system that you have, whether it calls for addition of what, enhancement, or whether the system will have to be completely replaced. All of these falls within the ambit of what, an innovator or advanced level of information system. Then you recognize factors and issues related to human-computer interface interactions. This is very important because you are looking at whether users will be at ease in using the system that you have introduced. So you look at usability principles. The first one is learnability, whether the students, the staff or users will be at ease using the system. They are able to navigate their way through the system without challenges. Then another one here is we are looking at error rate, whether the user what it is to recover or to identify those errors and recover from those errors. Then memorability, whether the user also has the ability to recall after a sustained period of not using the system. It is also very important. Then you also look at other attributes like effectiveness, efficiency, and then overall satisfaction of the system. And then in terms of human-computer interaction, you also look at the interface, whether the interface has high resolution to accommodate data visualization, whether you are able to see clearly the information that you see on the screen. Very, very important. We also ensure inclusion of nursing data and information in the design of planning information systems. So once you are making transition from the paper-based system to computerization, you should be able to support the inclusion of nursing data to affect computerization. And then as you also move forward, whether it requires new addition of some medical diagnosis or other relevant nursing information, the system has to be periodically updated, and you should also be involved in that. Then the last one, which is leadership for advanced or innovator level, you develop and participate in quality assurance program. All you do is to ensure that excellence always prevails in terms of having smooth workflow among care providers. Then you participate in patient instructional program development. One thing I have noticed about the acquisition of a software or any technology is that we always leave out our patient, who we think they are the backbone of whatever decision that we make. We go to school and then we see that we have Parent Teachers Association, where they are occasionally invited for a meeting so that we get their views about how we can advance, the school or whatever it is. But when it comes to the hospital setting, patients do not have representative. Are they having representative who are also on board that can also take decision, and their decision also having influence in terms of what management is supposed to do? But we just leave them out, we clear the software, begin to run. So when they come, sometimes they don't know what they are supposed to do unless we take our time to be guiding them. We go to OPD every morning to educate them. But we can design instructional manual to guide them that from here you go here because of the new order or the new arrangement. So all these are very important and form part of what leadership traits in advanced or innovator level. Then participate in ergonomic design of workstations, bedside computing, and other portable apparatus or equipment. What I mean here is that we are looking at ergonomic use of our computers. If you go to your various facilities, you notice that the way computers are placed or mounted on tables and how we also sit on chair may be different from maybe the ones that we use at our home, because we think that one is meant for professional, work. But when they come home, we don't also apply the same professionalism in terms of what using our computers. We can just be on the floor and then we're using our laptops. So it defeats the purpose of what ergonomic principles. We are looking at how when you maintain, when you mount a computer on a table, the computer should, be side by side with what your shoulder level, okay, and where your back also lean to the chair is also very important. All these are ergonomic principles. So you ask yourself whether you have some people in the facility who will just come and then tell you about ergonomic use of what workstations or computers. Very, very important. Then those computers that are also mounted at our various world, how do we also ensure better pusher in terms of using them? All these are very important part of what innovator or advanced level who has leadership or competencies. This will bring us to the end of conversation on uses and competencies in nursing informatics. Due to the rapid innovation in healthcare, there is the need to measure and enhance nurses' informatics skills and their knowledge. Okay, so I'll pause here, then take your views about the one or two questions, then we may progress from here. Is there any other thing I'm supposed to know?
Sir,
Oh, okay.
sir, so please, all these competences, how do we develop them? Because unless maybe we are to go on our own and learn them, I don't know if maybe it's been introduced into curriculum so that nurses, upcoming ones will learn or will have these competences. I don't know.
Okay.
Is it that we have to go and learn it on our own, or it's now being introduced? Thank you.
Okay, so I think what we are doing is not far from you. They are the things you work with on everyday basis. But the issue is that we need to be more deliberate about how we can advance from the level we see ourselves. For instance, I've seen nurses and midwife due to maybe, I think there's a question I'm going to even give you as an assignment. How you are going to look at your feelings towards what? Your personal feelings towards what? Explain yourself for us. Your personal feeling towards what? Oh, who is disturbing us? Is it Margaret? Are you the one? Gifty, you are acting as a co-host.
Margaret Shun, please
Could you
mute
speak for
yourself.
me? She's lucky that I'm not the co-host. Okay. Now I'll just make it a point that I'll ask you about your personal feeling towards your computers. What weaknesses have you identified, and what steps are you taking to ensure that you are able to use these technologies very well? So you have to do candidate assessment of yourself. But based on this, some people have been able to identify their weaknesses, and they have taken some personal, classes to improve themselves. I know somebody who is currently doing software engineering, and then others are also taking advanced courses in informatics at the master's level. So you can also go online, YouTube, right, and then begin from there. Alice, you also use part of our time to ensure that at least we learn certain things. We shouldn't always limit ourselves to the things we do alone. So personally, you need to be aware of what your challenges and see how you can improve. Okay, my friend, are you getting it? And that is
Noted, sir. Thank
that is
you.
the main reason why NMC has seen the need, and they have introduced what informatics competencies. But before you can do this one, in year one, they should make it very compulsory for all of you to, begin computer systems, let's say in nursing or for nursing students. When they appreciate that fundamentals in year one, it will make their transition into informatics very, very easy. But once it is not there, then students are introduced to this, because how many computers are available in a various institution that can accommodate all students? That is the question we also ask ourselves. So let's spend maybe some of the things let's spend our money also on some of these things, at least buying a laptop. The challenge that we have here is that fundamentally we are not encouraged to own laptops or maybe personal computers, and that has been a major constraint for lack of skills development. So once you are moving on this trajectory or this academic ladder, then it behoves on you to see whether you can also own a laptop. Your smartphones are good, but it is not meant for all tasks. So let's see how it goes in that manner. Are you okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now, because of our time, let's wrap up on this one. Informatics tools. According to ACOP, nursing informatics can be examined in terms of theory surrounding data, information, and knowledge. In our society, more often than not, we are using technology to capture data, and this is an instance of it. But we have made tremendous progress in terms of what data organization on computer systems with the use of what artificial intelligence. So that is also a new direction. Familiar with data collection and daily agents of patient care documentation, patient monitoring and the interview data. Good nursing practice requires detailed records keeping that is comprehensive, timely, and then accurate. Without complete recording, there is no evidence to prove that care was provided to the patient. So in nursing practice, there is a saying that what is not recorded has not been done. So this is very important. You might have attended or given all the necessary attention to your patient, but if you don't get any evidence of what records in terms of what your interventions, then we can also deny the fact that you have also managed your patient. In order to get evidence, it comes with what records or keeping. Okay. Nursing and healthcare data may be classified into 4 basic types. Right? So this one is very examinable. I can ask you, which of the underlisted is not part of what nursing and healthcare data in terms of what classification? So you see resource data, that is financial information among others, patient client demographics, activity data or client data, health service provider data. These primary data are recorded manually or collected electronically, with manual collection providing data opportunity for error. So the point I'm trying to make here is that nursing and health data may be classified into the following: resource data, patient or client demographics, activity data, and health service provider data. I want to give you 2 minutes to share your views on the difference between activity data and health service provider data. What is the difference? Or they are same? Health activity data, that is the clinical data, and then health service provider data. Are they distinct? If they are distinct, what are the differences? Who is talking? Okay, so because of our time, let me go this way. So we are looking at activity data. When you talk about activity data or clinical data, we are looking at all the activities nurses perform, right from, let's say, vital signs through to admission, discharge, and any relevant, responsibilities that come with your work. All of them are activity data or clinical data. Then we are also looking at what? Health service provider data. For the health service provider data, we are also looking at other general relevant information that also support what care providers. We are looking at, let's say, budget allocations. We are also looking at capacity building. So this one is just about management decisions that improve the life of what? Employees. That is just about health service provider data. Okay. If you want to do medical supplies or procurement planning, all of them are part of what? The health service provider data. Right. Okay. So these primary data are recorded manually, collected electronically with manual collection, providing data opportunity for error. So research shows that data recorded manually are prone to making errors, and therefore we can improve upon this through the introduction of what? Electronic health records. Then quantitative data collection tools. All these are, though we have informatics tools proper, but these are means of what? Data collection, right? That is questionnaire, interview, survey, quizzes, surveys, quizzes, web-based surveys, among others. All these are data collection tools, but they are not health informatics tools proper, but they are research tools, especially in data collection. So I'll just pause here and see whether you have one or two questions. Then we see how we bring our meeting to a finality. When are we going to do our midterm? Have you checked your calendar? What date is indicated for your midterm, Mister? I know it should be next month, but do you know the specific date? So next week we are going to build consensus on when or an ideal time for our Mr. exams. Are you aware of that? When are we going to have it? Let me hear something from you before we are taking off.
Sir, please, it starts from 5th of next month, March.
Hey, next month. Okay. I'm talking about it for the first time. You have to settle on a date next week, right? Okay. Is there anything I have to do before meeting ends? Okay.
Sir.
Hello.
Sir, please, the resource information, you didn't talk on it.
Please, are you ending at 6:15 or 6?
6:15.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought maybe 6. Okay, then let me move back. So that is I shouldn't have even rushed to guide you this, but I thought because the time was running out, I had to introduce you to this one. You said activity data. We are looking at all the things you do as nurses, the resources that are interfaced with our computerization. That is the activity data. Then we are also looking at what? Health service provider data, that is the general services, whether capacity building, especially for staff welfare development, making procurement, other relevant, administrative work other than what? The clinical activities. That is what we mean by health service provider data. Please, are you getting it?
Sir, please, my question was about the resource data.
You said about the resource data. The resource data, we are looking at example, financial data. So if you are having, financial data, it is also seen as well, resource data. But we can also, make other examples. For instance, we can have what medical supplies. We are looking at availability, usage at the stock levels. All of them may be resource data, equipment that you have, your functionalities, your facilities, bed capacity, infrastructure, human resources. All these are peculiar to, resource data. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But if you look at, for instance, health service provider data, staff performance, appraiser, all of them falls within the ambit of what? Health service provider data. Okay. Can I make progress from here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's be guided by a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So I always tell students that the moment you are enrolled into any nursing program, that is the way you begin your sacrifices. You serve, you lose yourself in the interest of others until you go on retirement. So if you don't have that empathy, you cannot sacrifice. And that is why we should see ourselves in this manner, or we should reflect this quote and always serve the interest of humanity. If you are not able to do that, then we are on the wrong, trajectory or path. Nursing aspect of health informatics systems. So we are going to look at nursing aspect of health informatics systems. How nurses use computers or technologies in decision making or their daily routines. How nurses are able to manage, interpret, and communicate data using these electronic health records for the purpose of improving health care. We are going to look at that. Now, by the end of this session, students should be able to discuss nursing information systems. And again, explain sources of data capture, list the point of care devices. Education is our passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. Malcolm S. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Simpler. Nursing information system is part of healthcare information system that deals with nursing aspect, especially the maintenance of nursing record. If one considers the original principle that Campbell identified when caring for patient, nurses' role falls into 3 global categories. The first one is managerial rules or coordinating activities. The second one is physician delegated task. And the last one is nursing autonomous functions. So in managerial rules, it involves order entry, resource reporting, requisition generation, and that is why procurement department are tied to, or they are part of electronic health records to guide us in making the needed requisition. Telephone booking of appointments. Current hospital information system can help nurses with these kind of activities. The next one is for physician delegated tasks. The current system can capture these from the physician order entry set and then incorporate them into the patient care plan. Then the next one is nursing autonomous function. So let me just pause here and then ask you a question. The work that we do, even though there could be some overlapping rules, do we see ourselves more in delegation or we function independently in terms of autonomy? Is the question quite clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me get your views on that. Do we function in purview of delegation, or we function independently based on autonomy? How do you see the two? Or they are overlapping responsibilities? Let's get your views on that.
Sir, I think delegation.
The things you do should be seen entirely as delegation. How do you explain that?
Sir, please, I think they overlap because you'll be delegated and then you work independently as to what you've been delegated to do.
Okay. So, but some people say that we cannot function without the presence of doctors. What do you make of this? When it is so that you cannot function without the presence of doctors, does it make a rule delegation, or are you autonomous in this lens?
It is delegatory.
Sometimes too, we can function without them because sometimes, an example is like wound dressing. We can dress wounds without doctors. This thing, let's say doctors giving us order. You know you have to dress it, so you dress it. But most of the times too, they delegate it to us before we do it. So it's overlapping.
Okay, overlapping rules. What about prescription or nurse prescribers? Are their rules in a delegation or autonomous? Even though I know some nurses who go and do nurse prescribing as a course in one of the universities in Ghana, UDS. When they come, are they going to have overlapping rules or they're still going to be delegation? Or because maybe they have undertaken a course of that nature, it is more autonomous rather than what delegation. What do you make of that?
Sir, please. I think that in the health system, everything is teamwork. One person cannot do everything. So in a place, example, such as a chip company, the workers there are working without a doctor. So, and let's say one person, if it's a nurse only, can work to her limit. But since you are in a health system and working as a team, you always need someone. Even the nurse prescriber you are talking about, you can get to a situation where you will need an advice from a public health nurse or another prescriber or somebody higher than your rank. So in our work, there is a time you are autonomous, and there is a time too, I think, it overlaps. Thank you.
Okay, so I like the fact that you talk about collaboration. So everything is just about teamwork. One cannot do without what the other. So nurses are trained to be autonomous, but just that you have overlapping rule. There will be some delegation. It is part of what mandate. But you know very well that you also work in line with what is stated in your job description, right? So based on the job description, you cannot, jump into what does not, fall within your domain. Okay. So delegation is very important, but all of them are collaborative in nature. So autonomous nursing, please can you restrain those who are disturbing us? Can you restrain them? I know it's getting to time, but I'll end very soon. Characteristics of what nursing professional activities. When knowledge unite, nursing is what applied to patient care. So this one is based on how well we are trained to be independent of what our functions and that we know what we're supposed to do. And that is it. Then managerial physician delegated tasks in autonomous nursing function must fit together to create fully operational system. So the present system, while the release nurse to focus on professional nursing practice, the future will require nursing decision making or nursing decision making support for professional nursing practice. Looking at it from nursing care plan in terms of what decision making, right? So this is an instance of what nurses working independently or having autonomous work function. Now, if you look at our various work, how it has been structured to accommodate what computer systems. You go to feminist or labor ward, then you have one computer system that is just mounted on a table, right? Where do documentation via patient product. Mami, high-end. Who is Mabel Ampon? Mabel, you never know. Me. Time is almost up, so okay, anyway. So what you see here, they are telling us that they know what they're supposed to do, okay? And that is what they are independent of what their functions. So if you go to our various world, you will see that the way we have what mounted computer on a table is quite different from what we are seeing here. This one, computer is mounted on top of what a patient bed. They are doing so because of what mobility and because of what space. So if you don't have space to accommodate what? A computer being placed at what? Each patient bed, then you can lean it on top of what? Patient board. Patient wall. But you can see it has keyboard function that support documentation. So any entry that they do, it is linked to the database or workstation. So it goes straight without having to repeat the things you have done. Where it is common practice in a various world. Okay. So let's take note of where we are today. How can technology help nurses care for patients, right? So we have to end here. Then next week we continue from this side where we are ending today. Let's take note of it. We are going to carry on from here. Is there anything I have to know before we draw curtains on our meeting so that Madam Mary will go and then cook her food?
No, sir.
Okay, so no question, no contribution, okay? Then I'm suggesting that you draw curtains on today's meeting. Then we have already made the slides available to you. I think that is about the competencies. But this one, even though I have not completed the tutorials, but I'll make it available to you within the course of the week. So if you are yet to visit the B class, make sure that you go there and then download the slides I've shared. Mid-semester exams is just on the horizon. So I'm just encouraging you that if you have not committed yourself to serious reading, start from today. Begin to build your act from now. Until we meet again next week, enjoy the rest of your evening and happy weekend to all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.